Hi students, it's Mr. Nguyen here. Welcome to another tutorial video. Today we're going to be working with IXL, finding midpoints and finding endpoints, okay? So let's start with midpoint. A midpoint is the middle of 2 points, right? So we have 2 points here, C and D. Point C is at 3, 8. Point D is at 7, 4. Now, if you know these are coordinate plane locations, right? So to find the midpoint, we take the x coordinates, we add them together, and we divide it by 2. That will give us the midpoint of the x coordinate. And then if we take the y coordinates, we add them together, and we divide it by 2. That will give us the midpoint of the y coordinates. Now, midpoint is a location, right? So midpoint can have negative value in it because it's the location, it's not a value, it's not like distance, right? So let's follow that formula and see what we can find. Okay, let me delete all of that mess. All right, so here we have 3 and 7. That's our x coordinates. So we do 3 plus 7, and then all of that is done first, and then we divide by 2, right? And then comma, and then we go to 8 and 4. All right, those are your y values. So 8 plus 4. Oops, sorry. I can't control my mouse. It's going crazy. So let me type it in. So 3 plus 7 is 10. And then you divide by 2. And then over here, 8 plus 4 is 12. And then you divide it by 2. So the answer is 5, comma 6. 5, because 10 divided by 2 is 5, and then 12 divided by 2 is 6, so we do 10, 6. Submit. Yay. Okay, next one, we're going to try it one more time. So let's take a look at this one. We have, so the x coordinate is 3 to 3, so that's 3 plus 3, right? And then dividing by 2. That's our x coordinate. So 3 plus 3 is 6. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So we know our first coordinate is 3. Let's do the second one. 6 plus 0 is 6, right? 6 plus 0. And then divided by 2. So 6 plus 0 is 6. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So our answer is 3, comma 3. So I am going to go over here and put in 3, comma 3. 3. Submit. Awesome. I'm gonna skip jump level just so that we get to maybe more challenging problems. Let's go to let's go here. Okay, so the numbers are just a little bit larger, which shouldn't give us a problem anyway. So we're gonna do the formula. I'm gonna type in the formula right here. So negative 87 plus 32. So those are my x value, right? So of course I'm gonna do and then, well, I'm gonna put everything in parentheses because it's parentheses, negative 87, right? Plus 32, close the parentheses, divided by 2. The reason I put it in parentheses because that needs to be done first, right? So you could actually use your calculator. So this is called taking the average, by the way. So you're gonna do negative 87 plus 32. You do that first. You get the answer first, and then divide it by 2. Okay. So my location for the x coordinate is negative 27.5. I'm gonna go ahead and type that in. Negative 27.5. Okay. The next one I'm doing is the y coordinate, right? So I'm gonna do parentheses. The y coordinate is 93 plus negative 84, and then close the parentheses, and then divide it by 2. So I'm going to go to my calculator. I'm going to do 93 plus negative 84. Or you could just do minus if you want, right? Enter. So that's the answer, 9. And then I have to divide it by 2 as well. Okay, to get the midpoint, right? So I have 44.5. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to type in my answer, 4.5. Hit submit. Very cool. Okay, so this is looking for midpoint, okay, wherever the middle of the 2 points are, the two endpoints are. So let's do it one more time. Well, maybe we'll skip along and then we'll get to the challenge zone. It's not any harder. The numbers just get a little bit more complicated, but nothing your calculator can't handle, right? So let me just say this is your x, this is your x, okay? This is the y, and this is the y, okay? There are two y values and two x values. Well, what we do is we take the x value, and you don't have to write anything now. You could actually do this on your calculator. You take the x value plus the x value. So 10.8 plus negative 12.8. So guys, having a calculator to do these problems are going to be extremely helpful. Okay, so make sure you get a calculator. Get one online or download one like the one I have right here. Enter. Divided by 2, it's going to give us -1. So I'm going to type in -1 for my answer here. -1. And then the next one I'm going to do is I'm going to take the y coordinate, -15.6, and I'm going to add to -8.6, right? So -15.6 plus -8.6. Enter. And then divide by 2. My answer is -12.1. So I go over here and I type in -12.1. Submit. Okay, so looking for the midpoint, it's actually not as difficult. So you just take the x, you add them together, divided by 2. Take the y, add them together, divided by 2. Okay, so I'm going to stop here, and then I'm going to jump to the endpoint. So here, what makes these kind of problems are challenging because the midpoint is given to you. This is the midpoint. What's missing is the endpoint, right? So what is it saying? I have a 0 here, and I have a 1 here, and I'm missing something here. Okay, same thing. I have a 6 here. I have a 6 in the middle, actually. I have a 6 here, and I have a 6 in the middle. Notice it's the same, right? So what's at the other end? Well, from 6 to 6 is 0. From 6 to 6 is 0. So the other end is a 6 also, right? I mean, I go 0 distance. So from here to here is 1 unit. So from here to here has to be 1 unit. So the number here has to be a 2. So my endpoint is 2 comma 6. This is my x value. This is my y value. Okay, so let's try that and see if we get the correct answer. 2 comma 6. 2 comma 6. Submit. All right, so let me show you that one more time so you know what I'm doing. Okay, so I have a segment, pretty much. Actually, I have two segments, right? I have an x segment and a y segment. So I'm going to label this the x segment, and this is the y segment. Okay, so here's what you're given. You're given the endpoint, which is over here. You're given this number as 8 for the x. I mean, sorry, 6. Okay, 6. And then 8 is here in the middle, right? And then what you're missing, something here. And they're asking you to find that, right? Same thing for the y coordinate. The middle is 3. They're giving you the middle, 3. And then the end is also a 3. Well, we know that since it's all the same, then this has to be a 3 as well, right? So my endpoint, this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for this order pair right here, right? So the only thing I have to work on is this one right here. From 6 to 8, that's 2 units. So I have to go 2 units to get here. Well, what's 8 go 2 unit? Well, that has to be a 10. So my order pair for the endpoint V, it has to be 10, 3. Did you see how I did that? If you didn't still I don't understand, I'm gonna do it one more problem, and then you'll know what I'm talking about. Okay, so 10 comma 3. Submit. All right, clear. Let me do it one more time. Here is my X segment. Here's my Y segment. Okay, so this is my X. This is Y. Okay, so now the midpoint. The midpoint is right here. This is X. This is Y, right? So the midpoint for X, which is right here, it's 4. The midpoint for Y, which is right here, is 0. The endpoint for C, the endpoint C, it starts at 2. So 2 is over here, right, for X. And then the endpoint for Y is 0. Oh, so it's also 0. So if all of this is 0, then the endpoint here has to be 0 as well, okay? Because I travel no distance. Here is different. Here I have to find out what this is, right? I have to find what it is. Well, it's easy. From 2 to 4, I have to add 2. Well, 4 add 2 will give me 6. So this number has to be a 6. So my order pair for my answer is 6 comma 0. 6 comma 0. Submit. Okay. I'm going to jump level just so that I get a problem where both the X and the Y coordinates are actually different, not the same. Okay. So jump one more time. Hopefully we'll get to better problem. Okay, here we go. All right, I'm going to do my X segment and my Y segment just like before, right? This is X, this is Y. Okay, excuse my X there, it's not very good. So the X coordinate, now notice this is the middle, right? So put it in the middle. So for the X coordinate in the middle is 57. The Y coordinate, the middle of the Y coordinate is 59.5. Okay, the endpoint, the beginning, is 38. So over here is 38. Sorry, 38. And then the begin here is 70, right? So all I have to do is count the distance because I don't know what's here. I don't know what's over here. And I don't know what's over here. But I do know that they have to be equal because this is in the middle, right? So from 38 to 27, what did I add? Well, in order to find that, all you have to do is take 57 and subtract 38 to give you 19, because 38 plus 19 is 57. So I know I'm adding 19. Well, if I'm adding 19 here, I have to add 19 here, right? I have to add 19 here because it's equal distance. It's in the middle, right? So I took 57, I add 19 to that. I get what? 76. So I know my endpoint over here is 76 for X value. Let's go to the Y value and we'll do the same thing. We need to know how long this is, right? So I do 59.5 and I subtract my 70, right? 70. I get actually I need to do this. I need to do my endpoint. 59 is the middle. This 70. Oh, so I need to put 70 over here. It really does. It really makes no difference, but I'm going to go ahead and do that just so that it actually makes sense to you. The N is actually 70. So the N is 70. It doesn't really matter because it's still an endpoint. And here is the question mark, right? So what's the distance from here to here? Well, that's what we're trying to find out. What was it? If I take 70 and I subtract 59.5, because it's distance, it can't be negative. So it's 10.5. So I am going from here to here, 10.5 units. Okay, right? What's that? What it says? 10.5. 70 minus 50. So it's 10.5. And then that means whatever this number is, I have to add 10.5 to get to 50, 59.5. So all I have to do is take 59.5, subtract 10.5. I would get my beginning answer. So 59.5, subtract 10.5. I started at 49, so I know my number here is 49. So what is my answer? 76 comma 49? Let's try that. I don't know if that's correct, but let's try it. 76 is my X, and then 49 is my Y. Yes, okay, good. Clear that. All right, let's try this again. So put your number in order, okay? That's what I didn't do last time, so I kind of got messed up towards the middle there. But put your number in the middle. I mean, in order from small to large. Okay, so here we go. My midpoint for X is 57. My midpoint for Y is 43. My endpoint for X is 61. So 61 is over here. So I'm going to put 61 here. Okay. And then 9 is my endpoint for Y. Well, 9 cannot be here. 9 has to be back here because it's smaller. Right. So I put 9 there. Now all I have to do is find. So I'm looking for this coordinate. And I'm looking for this value for that coordinate. So all I have to do now is go and look at the distance. So from here to here, how long is it? That means how long it's going to be the same thing here. So 57, 58, 59, 60, 61. So that's 4 units. That means I have to do 4 units here as well. Well, what number plus 4 give you 57? It has to be 53. 53 plus 4, 57, right? So, and then I'll do the same thing here. From 9 to 43, oh my God, how long is that? Well, we might have trouble using our fingers to count. So we're going to do 43 minus 9. That's going to give us 34 because 34 plus 9 will give us 43 back, okay? So 34 is my number here. That means I have to go 34 to get to here. Well, what's 43 plus 34? 43 plus 34 is 77. So the number back here has to be 77, right? The number back here has to be 77. Okay? So that's how you do this. So now I'm going to enter my coordinates. Remember the X coordinate goes first and then the Y coordinate. So 53, comma, 77. Enter. There we are. Very good. Okay. 85, maybe we'll jump one level. We'll get to the challenge zone. All right. The challenge zone, it's really not harder. It's just decimal, right? If you have a calculator, you have no problem. Okay. Again, my X segment and my Y segment. So this is my X segment and this is my Y segment, right? And I'm going to enter the midpoint. The midpoint is right here. For my X coordinate, it's negative 11.85. Okay. And then for the Y coordinate, the midpoint is negative 6.7. Okay. The endpoint for X here, notice, watch this. The endpoint for X here is negative 6.2. Negative 6.2 is actually bigger than negative 11.685. So I'm going to put negative 6.2 over here. Okay? Because it's bigger. And so I'm looking for this point back here. Okay? Negative 6.7, and then negative for the Y coordinate is negative 7.6. Negative 7.6 is actually smaller than negative 6.7. So I'm going to put negative 7.6 over here. Negative 7.6. And then all I have to do now is find out how long is it from here to here, how long is it from here to here. And so I do the same distance to here to get this point, right? And then I do the same distance from here to get this point, okay? So let's try that. Okay, so how do I find out from here to here how long it is? Well, all you have to do is take this number and subtract that number. So negative 6.2, oops, negative 6.2 minus, remember minus, a negative 11.85. So from here to here, I'm adding what? 5.65. Oops, 5.65. Okay, if I add 5.65 to this, I will get 6.2. Okay, now that means I have to add 5.65 to here as well. Whatever this number is, add 5.65 will give me negative 11.85. So how do I do that? Well, same thing. You take this number and you subtract that number. So I take negative 11.85. I subtract positive 5.65. I get a bigger negative number. So the beginning is negative 17.5. So the beginning is negative 17.5. Okay? So that's how you find the beginning. All right, what about this one? Well, it's the same thing. You take this point, you subtract this point to get the distance between them, right? So you take negative 6.7 minus a negative. Be careful here. You're subtracting a negative. So minus this symbol, this button, and then negative, this button. You see how one is smaller than the other? 7.6. Enter. So 0.9. So the distance between these two guys right here is 0.9. Okay. So I'm adding 0.9, adding 0.9. So 0.9. Okay. That means I have to do the same thing here. I have to add 0.9 to this also, right? Well, what is that? What is negative 6.7 at 0.9? At 0.9. So my endpoint is negative 5.8. So over here would be negative 5.8. Okay, so just use your calculator and be careful with subtracting and adding, and you'll get your numbers. Okay, so here's my numbers. So here's the first one, and here's the second one. Okay, so I'm gonna type that in. Negative 17.5. And then the other one is negative 5.8. Okay, there we go. All right, guys, if you are doing this, you can stop at maybe 80 or 85. Getting all the way to a 90 or 100 is really, really good. I mean, these problems are not difficult. The method is still the same. What makes them difficult is it's the numbers, right? The values are a little trickier to work with. But if you use your calculator, you will be fine. I'm gonna do one more before I stop. Okay, here's my x. This is my y. So there's my x value. That's my y value. Okay. Now be careful. The first point is always the midpoint they're giving you right here. So you have to put the midpoint in here. Negative 0.7. You see how it's the numbers getting uglier. Okay. This one's the midpoint for the y value. So negative 1.55. Okay. Then you go over here and you say, okay, what did they give me? They give me negative 9.5 for the x value. Negative 9.5 is actually over here because it's smaller, right? So it's smaller. Negative 9.5, okay? And over here, I am looking for it. I don't know what it is, right? For the y value, it's 15.8. 15.8 is a large number. It's bigger than this guy. So I'm going to put it over here. 15.8. So now I'm looking for this endpoint over here. Okay? So let's follow our procedure. We need to find out how long it is from here to here. Now, to find how long it is from here to here, remember, take this number and subtract this number. Take the large number and subtract the little number, right? Well, what is the large number? The large number is negative 0.7. Be careful when you type this in. It has to be 0.7 minus a negative, so minus a negative, there's something else for you to be careful with, right? So this is what makes the problem difficult. It's because of all the negative and the decimals and stuff like that, right? Just be careful and slow down. 9.5. Hit enter. That would be 8.8, right? So the distance between them is plus 8.8. Plus 8.8. Okay, so that means we have to do the same thing to get to this guy. We have to add 8.8 to this negative 0.7. Get to the next point. So I'm going to go to my calculator and I'm going to say, okay, what is 8.8 plus negative 0.7? It's 8.1. So my endpoint over here, it's 8.1. Oops, 8.1. What did I type in? 8.1. I typed in 9.2. Oh my gosh. Okay, so that's my first order pair. My first coordinate is 8.1. Let's do the second coordinate. Second coordinate, I have to find out how long it is from here to here. Remember, take the big number, subtract the little number, okay? So take the big number, 15.8, minus a negative, so minus a negative, right? Subtract negative, 1.55. 17.35. So that means I am adding 17.35 to this, right? Is that what it says? Yeah. Okay. I'm adding, what symbol did I use? Oh, sorry. I didn't, let me redo that. I'm adding 17.35 to that number, right? So that means I have to do the same thing here. That means from this guy to this guy, I have to add 17.35 as well, right? I'm not typing, that's why my handwriting is terrible. The mouse is not working very well. So how do I know what this number is? Well, all you have to do is take this number, right? Add to that number, you get this number, right? Just like I take this number, actually, sorry, take this number, subtract that number to get this number. And so take this number, subtract that number to get this number. My bad, because this number has to be smaller, right? So you're going to take negative 1.55 and you're going to subtract the distance between them to get the other point. So it's negative 18.9. Negative 18.9 is over here. Negative 18.9. And you can check your answer as well. If you do negative 18. Look at this is how I check my answer. So if you take negative 18.9 and you add 17.35 to that, you should get the midpoint, which is negative 1.55. And that's how you can verify your answers, okay? So let's go over here and let's type in our answer. It's going to be, so my first X endpoint is 8.1. And my Y endpoint is over here, which is negative 18.9. Negative 18.9. Submit.